past 30 minutes, and you can watch for yourself how that circulation has made more of a jog to the southeast now. So this is already well past Johnson, and it's going to stay south of Big Bow. It's going to stay south of Ulysses. It's not going to impact these areas, but it's already to the east of K27. There's the county line. So that's Stanton County, that's Grant County, and then down to the south here, that's Morton and that's Stevens. And so this tornado is going to be tracking more towards the southeast at this point. Matter of fact, let me kind of expand the view so you can get a little better perspective of where it's going to be. So again, it's already south of Johnson. There's the area of circulation. And now that it's kind of made that little more of a turn to the right, it's going to be very close to where, you know, Morton, Stevens, Grant, Stanton all kind of meet together here as that continues tracking south of 160. Again, can't stress enough that US 160 already to the south of that's not going to be impacted at all. So let me zoom in hyper tight now. We'll show you where that circulation is right along the ground. So we get in just very super tight here. We'll zoom in. Oh, doesn't want to. There we go. Finally lock in. We'll zoom in tighter. So there's the wind going away. There's the wind going toward. We'll get in even tighter to get those little small county roads popping up here. There you go. There's Road G in Stanton County, Road H in Stanton County, and that's Road 21 on the south here. So if that's where the tornado is still going to be on the ground at this point, and as long as this thing keeps spinning, we're going to be dealing with this. And not only just the tornado threat, but large hail. So once I back out a little bit, so you got the tornado there. Let me go over to the velocity, to the reflectivity mode of the radar. And we've already had hail reported up to 3 inches in diameter. And that large hail threat existing here. And look at this. We've got another severe thunderstorm near the Saunders grain elevator, right along 160. And if this matures a little more, given the state of the atmosphere, we're going to watch this one closely to see if it spins up. That could potentially be developed into another tornado threat from the Saunders grain elevator over towards Mantor. I know you've already had the heavy, very large hail, 2 to 3 inches in diameter in Mantor at that point. But there's your current tornado risk. Again, south of Johnson, as it's going to move towards Hugoton. No guarantee it's going to still be on the ground by the time it gets to Hugoton, but we're going to continue to watch. Colton, who we got in 2 right now? Okay, let's go Jake Thompson over in Chase 2. We'll take a look at his stream. He's closest physically to that storm now. Got reduced visibility. I can only imagine just the heavy rain going on. It's going to be difficult to spot the tornado because it looks like it's just completely wrapped in very, very heavy rainfall at this point. Who's over in Chase 1 right now, Colton? That's Alicia. Okay, let's go over to Chase 1 when you get a chance. We got Alicia Short, who's in Chase 1, and her position of the storm also. She's got a nice little lowered base that we're looking at from that perspective. So we got the KAKE First Alert storm trackers out there. Meteorologist Cameron Venables in the process of intercepting. So that's the lowered base of the storm that she's looking at. Now, none of our First Alert storm trackers have seen the actual tornado itself. It's really been wrapped in rain, and this was through the Dodge City Weather Service office, the report of a spotter. So we're still trying to figure out just who saw it and when they saw it at this point. So let me go back in and zoom in hyper tight for you. Boy, oh my goodness, look at that hail size now that's starting to fall on the back side of this. That's, considering we had 3 inch earlier, that's probably larger than softballs. I'd hate to think how large the hail is on the back side of that storm now. But you see the circulation right in here. This is extreme southeastern parts of Stanton County. This is going to be moving out of Stanton, kind of clipping the southwest corner of Grant County, getting into the northwest corner of Stevens County. Yeah, Cole, go ahead and turn on your mic. What have you got?
Yeah, just FYI, Jake Thompson, part of the report that reported the confirmed tornado.
All right, do me a favor, check your mic, Colton. We're having some trouble getting you there when you get that up. So, okay, so it was Jake Thompson that confirmed that?
That's
all
right.
So our KAKE First Alert storm tracker, Jake Thompson, is the one that confirmed the tornado, and it's still ongoing at this point. Again, very heavy rain and also extremely large hail as that continues to track across southeastern parts of Stanton County. Johnson, Big Bow, Ulysses, you're fine. This is not going to impact you. But what we will be watching is this other thunderstorm that's developed from Mantor back over towards the Saunders grain elevator near 160. Given the environment here, if this gets a little reorganized, we're going to continue to watch that. We go back over to the velocity mode. This thing is definitely spinning like a top at this point. And looks like, what is that, Jake, who's in the rain now at this point? Okay, so we got Jake in the rain. We got your mic back, so if you want to give us that report again from Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, that was Jake Thompson, reported confirmed tornado. He had it, and we're still watching here. He's currently wrapped up in what we would probably call the bear's cage, which means that this is more than likely going to be a rain-wrapped tornado, and some big hail embedded in there as well. So
Hey, well, let's go ahead and take Jake's stream live. Since he's in there with the heavy rain and all that, let's kind of keep an eye on his stream, and we'll yeah, go ahead and take that full. We'll let him roll since he's into the rain. He's in the part of the thunderstorm, like you said, where he may just roll up on it about any time here. But just to keep in mind, tornado precautions if you're south of 160 and if you're east of K27 in Stanton County. If you're in Grant County, this is south US 160 and to the west of K25. As far as northern parts of Morton County, this would be the northeast corner. We're talking north of Richfield. This would be east of K27, north of K51, and it will roll into northwestern parts of Stevens County. We're talking northwest of Hugoton. We're talking the part of the county that is west of K25, because this is going to be very close to basically where the four counties, I know they don't all come together at one point, but they kind of all come together in general locations. So let's go back over to Kake's First Alert Doppler HD, and there's your, it's still spinning right there. Okay, just got the latest sweep of the radar. So we're going to stop this on the current one. We're going to zoom in and give you those intersections based on the county roads. So we're going to get in tighter here into Stanton County. Tornado still on the ground. That's where it'll be. So let's get in hyper tight, and we'll go ahead and label those roads for you. So that circulation, that is Road 21 in Stanton County, and that is South Road, that's Road E in Stanton County, and that is Road D in Stanton County. So right along Road 21 between Road E and Road D, that's where the tightest circulation is based on Doppler radar. That doesn't mean the tornado is going to be exactly that spot, but it's going to be awfully close to that vicinity. So now I'll just kind of keep backing out the view here and then roll it for you over the past 30 minutes. You can kind of track the circulation. So there it is now. We go back in time and notice it is moving not completely southeast, but kind of east-southeast. And that will track right along the county line and cross into extreme southwestern parts of Grant County. K25 to the east of K25 in Grant County, you're okay. If you're to the west side of K27 in Stanton County, yeah, the circulation is not going to impact you. Same thing in Morton County. If you're to the west of K27, this tornado threat's not going to impact you also. So it continues just to roll through the county, and it'll get over to southwestern parts of Grant County soon enough. And our KAKE First Alert Storm Tracker, let's go back over to who's in 1 right now?
That's Alicia.
Okay, let's go to Alicia Short, who's over in 1. And she's got the lowered base of that storm and kind of off at a distance there, but this is kind of what we've been seeing most of the time. And pop back over to Jake over on Chase 2. So let's see what he's got from his vantage point. You can see the heavy rain on the right side of the screen. Let's see if he kind of gets reoriented back in there. He drove through the rain earlier, and he's the one that reported the tornado. So it was Jake's report to the National Weather Service in Dodge City that issued the tornado warning. So our KAKE First Alert Storm Trackers are doing their job. Okay, let's go back over to Alicia's stream. She's doing a good job imaging the lowering of that thunderstorm. There you go. So we're now over on her stream. So this is Alicia Short, our KAKE First Alert Storm Tracker there. And we're continuing to watch between the two. Didn't get any video of the tornado itself at this point, even though Jake was the one that spotted it. And earlier, my goodness, Colton, we got reports of 3-inch hail over near Mantor. Haven't been able to source any photographs of that yet. But, I mean, wind-driven, we had wind probably gusting about 70 miles per hour with 3-inch hail. I can only imagine the wind-driven hail damage potential with those storms. So you continue to watch tornado warning for Stanton County, for parts of Grant County, and also for Stevens County and Morton County. There's your tornado that's been reported by our KAKE First Alert Storm Tracker, Jake Thompson. And back over the reflectivity mode of the radar, kind of give you the classic look. Not only you see where the hook echo is, but where the very large hail is at this point in time. So look at this extremely large hail radar signature that we're getting. Remember, we had 3-inch hail reported in Mantor from this thunderstorm as it rolled by, and we didn't even have this high radar reflectivity. So you can only imagine that the hail size is increased to larger than softballs that's fallen from this thunderstorm. It looks like Jake's tempting fate and getting back into the rain again. I hope he stays out of the hail core because trust me, we're gonna know it really, really quickly if he does. He's very close to the hail core, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's headed in the direction.
All right, so we'll continue to watch Jake. Jake is right sitting in here now. Let's go ahead and let's take his stream live. And he's in the rain, and I got to admit, I'm shocked he's dodged the hail so far. And all it's going to take is one well-placed stone to crack that windshield with that kind of hail size. So he's trying to get back into the rain-free part of the thunderstorm and kind of give us an image of the tornado. Let's let him follow him with the turn. He's going to go ahead and make the turn here, kind of get back facing the storm. So we're going to watch him live. That's just a wall of water. I got to admit, we're going to have a really tough time imaging the tornado with what's going on here. But we're just going to continue to watch him live with this as he's continuing to drive deeper. About to say, Colt, let's go over to you. Got his position plotted over there next toward in relation to the hail core.
Yeah, that's right. He's on Road 21 headed eastbound, and so he's technically going to be behind this circulation. But as we're kind of mentioning here, as he kind of continues to move off to the east, I'll show you. We'll zoom in here very closely. There's the hail core. So Jake Thompson needs to watch just a little closely here, and we'll keep an eye on that. But the stream from Alicia and Bryce J, they got to have a good look at a shot here of the rain-free base. We want to take a look at that. That's going to be on Chase 1, and this is where we can kind of see that the lowering, at least for the time being, from what we can see there, yeah, there's a wonderful shot there. And Jay, talk about what we're seeing here, because we know we had a kind of well-defined lowering, but if anything is currently on the ground, it's going to be back there, more than likely behind the rain curtains. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have a lot of trouble seeing it at this point in time, just because that's a lot of. Tell you, Alicia's very well positioned now too, and I know where you see that you know that is a rain curtain that is fallen out of that storm. You look back into there, so I can only imagine the hail size and the rain that is falling out of that as we continue to track that. So let's go back over to Kate's first alert Doppler here, and we're going to watch that again. There's just the monster hail. You can clearly see the hook that is developed here. We've already confirmed a tornado with this. And this just continues to chug on along. So let's go back over to the velocity mode of the radar at this point. Let's go over to Dodge City. There's your base velocity. Okay, unfortunately, the velocities have increased in this storm. So this is an increasingly dangerous situation that is developing now. So we're developing a very, very large tornado right there. Where you see that, that's what we call a de-aliasing error, and that's a little breakdown. We'll see if this actually lasts a volume scan or another sweep or two, but that's what we're looking at here. So this is exiting Stanton County and moving into Grant County. So I can't emphasize enough, if you are downstream of this, if this is headed your way, you need to think about those tornado precautions. You need to think about where you're going to shelter, because this is a very compelling radar signature based on Doppler velocity. We've got extremely large hail. We got a very impressive hook echo. So this is a very, unfortunately, not a friendly Doppler radar signature that we're looking at today. Again, moving out of Stanton County. This is the extreme southeast corner. There's Grant County. So as far as Ulysses proper, it's not going to impact the city of Ulysses. But if you live southwest of Ulysses, in the county here, this is going to be moving right across into northern Stevens County. So this is kind of heads up. If you live over towards Moscow at this point, I would go ahead and be exercising those tornado precautions along US 56, because this thunderstorm will continue tracking down towards the southeast. And as long as it's got this kind of signature, this is a heck of a storm that we're dealing with. This is a very powerful thunderstorm. And remember, we do not have a lot of thunderstorms ongoing right now. So we got plenty of atmosphere for this storm to continue to feed on. We'll kind of track it back. See, there's the velocity signature tightening up, and it continues. I got to admit, that's as strong as we've seen all day with this storm. So the National Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning. They're going to be extending this one as long as we got that signature. The current warning is until 5 o'clock for Grant, for Mortons, for Stevens, for Stanton County. You got observed tornado, and we have had over near Mander a history of up to 3-inch hail with that. And that continues, unfortunately, just to be very impressive, very scary looking radar signature. Let me go back over and let's look at, see, we got the debris detector here with the correlation coefficient. See if we can actually get anything kicking up. Keep in mind, we're still at quite a distance from the radar, but you know what? I don't know. That's really kind of noisy along that radial there. Doesn't exactly line up with where we have the velocity, but we're going to continue to watch that. We'll see if maybe that's an indication of some debris getting lofted. Not a lot of confidence that that's exactly it yet. So we go back over to Dodge.
That's about 8,500 feet for reference, Jay. So.
Yeah, but this thing's so big, well, honestly, kicking something up to 8K feet would not be out of the question. Right. So I would expect to see something. Notice on the backside, and we were talking about this earlier, Colton, notice that other circulation starting to develop back behind the parent circulation here. So what we have to watch to see if this is going to be strong and maybe another one develops on the backside. We do have an atmosphere where, you know what, even one supercell thunderstorm, as it goes through its cycles, it's going to reorganize occasionally. It could put down a stronger tornado and have little smaller, weaker satellite tornadoes, and there's the potential for the parent one, the big tornado, to kind of shrivel up and a new circulation at a new location to kind of take over. So, you know, fortunately, Johnson, you're far enough away. I'm feeling really good about this one. Same thing with Manor and Big Bow, but if you're anywhere in the southeastern corner of the county, you need to continue exercising those tornado precautions, as this is the storm of the moment. Just unfortunately, a very powerful supercell thunderstorm that is churning across the plains of southwest Kansas, and this very likely producing a large tornado. We got KAKE First Alert storm trackers. We got Alicia Short out there. We got Bryce Kintai out there. Gene Tyson is out there. Jake Thompson, and meteorologist Cameron Venables in the process of getting into position to intercept this storm also. And this tornado watch continues until 9 o'clock Central Time. That is 8 o'clock Mountain Time. As, I mean, you see why here. We knew that it wasn't going to be many storms, but the ones that did pop up were going to be problematic. And tell you what, Colton, let's go back over to you. I've been showing the velocity mode. Why don't you take a look at the reflectivity and talk about the hail core a little bit.
Yeah, so we're still watching this, and from the perspective of that velocity, Jay, I've kind of been doing a little bit of a comparison here for where you can expect to see maybe some of the rain wrap. And for that velocity couplet, it's going to be right about through here. And so if we kind of take a look and zoom in just a tad, that's going to end up being right about here. And so as a result, again, we can't stress enough that though there's not a ton out this way, you're not going to be able to see it very well. And again, the good news is here just within the last couple of minutes, I'm going to loop this a tad and you can watch. We can see this hail core here. If it, notice it was quite strong just whenever it was on the north side of Jake there. It looks like those have come down just a tad. So, but we still have, out of this storm, had a history of hail up to 3 inches in size. And that, of course, being driven by 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. So this is still a dangerous storm, all things considered, not just tornado-wise, but again, we do know that we have produced at least one tornado, and still continue to watch that circulation as it continues to strengthen, Jay, and at least continue to maintain pace. We'll keep watching. I'm watching our chaser streams closely here, kind of getting in position to watch the remainder of what this thing's going to try to do.
All right, so once again, we've got our KAKE First Alert storm trackers, and there's meteorologist Cameron Venables. What he's doing is he's sliding down on 56 to position himself out ahead of that storm as it approaches him. So you notice how we're picket fencing this. We're going to have coverage all over the place. We got Gene Tyson there, Alicia Short and Bryce Kintai there, Jake Thompson, and then meteorologist Cameron Venables. So as we continue the evolution of the storm, we'll be able to watch it. Now, some of the better news is when this was getting initially organized over by the Saunders grain elevator, you know, I was kind of concerned given the atmosphere, is this thing going to develop? Is it going to hook up? We're going to talk about a tornado threat. That has not happened at this point. And we still have, given the history of this, 2 to 3 inch hails falling from this thing. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Grant County and for Stevens County. They're just kind of getting out ahead of the tornado warning. Trust me, as long as that thing has those kind of velocity signatures, they will be issuing more tornado warnings. That is going to be coming out. But you see the latest polygon there. That is the severe thunderstorm warning now for Grant, Morton, Stevens. They're saying 90 mile per hour winds based on, we showed you the Doppler radar signatures, what we call the de-aliasing error, a little breakdown here. They're thinking that the winds could gust to 90 miles per hour. And we've already talked about the hail, 2 to 3 inches in diameter. We have already seen that from this storm. So we kind of pan the view back over. I'm going to switch to the Doppler velocity so we can get you updated on where the circulation producing the tornado is at this moment. So let's go back over to Dodge City. There's your base velocity. We're going to roll it in motion. And now that area of circulation has crossed into Grant County. Now on the backside, we're still going to be watching this in southeastern parts of Stanton to see if that, you know, should redevelop into anything stronger. But let's get you in here. Honestly, got a couple of little strong areas of circulation very close to one another. We're now into southwestern Grant County. That's where the circulation is, and we'll kind of match that up. So we're going to kind of freeze the motion. Let's zoom in hyper tight, and we'll show you the county roads we're talking about here. So we've crossed the county line. There is County Road 10, and that is Road C and Road B. Keep in mind, we're now over into the Grant County side here. That's where that circulation, we still got a tornado on the ground. That is definitely where it is going to be, right in that vicinity there. Now, in terms of where it is in relation to Ulysses, it's not going to impact Ulysses, okay? So we're going to go from the intersection of 160 and K25. It's about 12 miles off to the southwest, and that motion of the circulation is keeping it away from Ulysses. So this is going to be crossing, probably getting back into northern parts of Stevens County before it gets to K25. So this is all west of K25 in Grant County. We're talking southern Grant County. We're talking west of K25 across northwestern Stevens County as that continues to move. And Colton, I see you got a track on the position of the storm.
Yeah, this is just not necessarily for the circulation, but this would be for the damaging wind gusts coming out of this storm. As we know, the circulation is a much more local threat, but in terms of damaging wind gusts, the front edge of the storm is going to be in some places the most powerful. And so here's some times of arrival for you here as we go throughout the next hour or so, as this thing again continues to track off to the next to the southeast, again, as Jay mentioned, through parts of Grant, Stevens County. And again, these are mainly the times of arrival for damaging wind gusts, not necessarily a tornado threat, although there could be a tornado threat within some of these locations as well. And as Jay mentioned, we were talking somewhere in the neighborhood of potentially up to 90 miles per hour. Again, we're still getting the occasional hail reports, somewhere of 2 to 2.5 inches. So we're talking, now we're kind of getting out of pocket change size hail. Now we're talking more about golf ball, ping pongs, maybe even up to tennis balls. And then of course at times we've had reports, Jay, upwards to near baseballs and softballs. So really a nasty storm. And the good news is we have eyes all over it. We're still watching. Currently the lowering is not quite as impressive as it was, but I'll make sure to holler at you if that changes.
All right, so I'll tell you what, let me go back over to you a sec, Colt. Why don't you get us some storm reports of the hail track? We can show the hail tracks coming up here. So yeah, we still continue the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning. And there's that area of circulation we continue. Technically, KAKE News at 5 is going to start up here not before too long. When it does, we're just going to continue rolling with the with the tornado warning coverage here. And let's, who's in 2? Is that Jake in 2?
That's Jake in 2.
Let's go over to 2 right now. Let's go to Chase 2. Jake Thompson, our KAKE First Alert Storm Tracker, and you've got let's go ahead and take it full screen, and you notice his position where you could see just the heavy rain off just a curtain of rain and very large hail with the thunderstorms as he's continuing to watch the tornado warned storm. Now, he's the one responsible for the issuance of the tornado warning, confirming a tornado on the ground earlier with the storm. Now, part of the good news is it looks like the area of circulation may be getting a little more disorganized at this point. So let's go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler right here. We still got an area of circulation, but it is not nearly as strong and as prominent as what it was just about 5 minutes ago. Still spinning, so the Weather Service, you can tell it's about to exit the warning polygon that they drew here. So Dodge City is right now probably making a decision whether or not they're about to issue another tornado warning and extend that over towards K25, or if they're going to let that tornado warning go. The current warning for parts of Grant County, for Stevens and Stanton, is set to expire at the top of the hour coming up here at 5 o'clock. So we'll see if they wind up extending that. But yeah, KAKE First Alert Storm Trackers are in really good position here. And Colt, when you get a chance, I know Cameron's kind of getting close on 56. If he's got a video shot, that you think's worthy, let us know. We'll continue on that. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for parts. They've extended this out ahead of it for Grant, Morton, Stevens County. I know they got wind gusts at 90 miles per hour. Trust me, that 90 mile per hour wind gust is going to be confined to an extremely small area, very close to where the tornado would be. We're not talking about a widespread swath of 90 mile per hour wind gusts, and that hail size between 2 inches and 3 inches in diameter. As there's your circulation there, just a couple of miles north of the county line with Stevens County. So here's the county line. We're going to go to the north. Again, it's only about a mile to the north now. So this is going to be right crossing from Grant County into Stevens County, just to the west of K25, and then continuing. So again, heads up for Moscow. This is going to be moving in your way. Don't know if it's still going to be producing a tornado at that point, but still very strong rotating thunderstorm as we're watching this. And I'll tell you what, some of the hail has just been incredible. We don't have pictures yet, but we had reports earlier when this was near Mantor of 3-inch hail from this particular thunderstorm. And the hail sizes probably starting to finally come down in size a little bit. Let's go back over to the reflectivity mode of the radar here. So let's go to Dodge City. We're going over to the base reflectivity of 0.5 degrees. And yes, we're probably getting 1 to 2 inch hail now just to the west of K25. Earlier, when this was back over, yeah, you see that little where it spiked up to the white? That was probably in excess of 3-inch hail. Looks like the hail sizes are finally coming down. Tornado threat is still right here, just 1 mile north of the Stevens County, Grant County line. and this is just to the west of K25, and that continues, fortunately, to get a little more disorganized. We'll kind of back the view up, and then we'll get everything kind of restarted at this point. Kind of reset the scene here for you, and zoom in. There's your severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Stevens County and Grant County. There's your tornado warning, and if this thing comes back and that circulation starts to get a little more disorganized, they may let that tornado warning go. Let's roll it here over the past 30 minutes. Here's your area of circulation right there. And I'll tell you what, oh, okay, Colton, I see you got the hail size popped up from what moved across earlier. Colton?
Yeah, that's right, Jay. And again, we do have a few hail reports in here now, most of these somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches. This hail report near Mantor, that was our 3-inch hail report. Again, the radar doesn't necessarily line up exactly with where that was, but we do think that there was more than likely a zone somewhere in the strongest hail core here where that was possible. Okay, this is radar indicated hail size. This is not a measurement, all right? This is a measurement. This coming in within the National Weather Service chat here just south of Big Bow. But again, that would line up with where the radar estimates that the strongest or the largest hail cores were, if you will. So just to give you some locations, really from anywhere east of Mantor, south of Johnson City, over through the southern sides of Big Bow here, south of Julian as well. That's going to be kind of the zone of where we think that the largest hail core was. Again, this was embedded at the time with a strong circulation, with damaging winds, as well as possibly with a tornado. So Jay, a nasty thunderstorm continues, but I concur with you, and it's looking, the way we're seeing things now, that circulation has weakened to the point where that tornado warning may be allowed to expire here just within the next few minutes.
Exactly. So if this happens, so what we're going to do now is the fact that we've seen this get disorganized, this is great news. So based on the latest radar data here, we're coming up on KAKE News at 5 o'clock. So hey, just tell us when KAKE News at 5 is going to start. And I got a feeling we can kind of roll into the newscast with frequent updates, because I think the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire. And should this start to spin back up, we can rejoin the continuous coverage at that time. So once we get the change in the seat upstairs, if you can get my ear and let me know what's going on, I'd appreciate that. Again, right now planning on starting KAKE News at 5 on time. Right now it's 4:55, so I don't know if the start time is straight up on the top of the hour or what. Please let me know. So as we're watching, we got the tornado warning until the top of the hour for parts of Grant County, Stanton County, and also for northern Stevens County. That area of circulation has really weakened considerably at this point. Let's go over to, let's see, is it, who's in Chase 2 right now, Colton? Is it Jake? Let's go over to Jake in Chase 2. He is just south, getting repositioned on that. He's the one that initially reported the tornado that prompted the warning from the National Weather Service in Dodge City. And quite frankly, just about 15 minutes ago, that storm was producing incredibly high rotational velocities, but it was probably all wrapped in rain, couldn't really see what's going on. So Jake's getting in position. Let's go back over to KAKE's First Alert Doppler, and we've got meteorologist Cameron Venable who's starting to get in position too. Is Cameron available? So if so, we can join Cameron at this point. So we're in the process of making contact with Cameron. He is coming up north here on the backside of that storm and should be getting a really good position to give us a view of it. So if we could join Cameron, that would be fantastic. We can tell me what's going on. Okay, so once we reconnect him, we'll know what's going on here. Who's in 1 right now?
That's still Alicia.
Alicia's over in 1. Okay, let's go over to Alicia's shot. We'll go over to Chase 1. And so we're looking at another position of the storm. Notice that she is just down to the south, also looking back up into the storm. Again, we're seeing a lot of lowered cloud bases, but right now, currently no tornado. We're less than 4 minutes to the start of KAKE News at 5. We'll get you back to that. So let's go live to KAKE's First Alert Doppler. We'll take it full once again. I'll switch over to the velocity mode here. And once we kind of pop on over, full screen, please. There we go. So go over to the base velocity, and now we will zoom in. And that area of circulation is a lot weaker, and it has finally crossed into northern parts of Stevens County. Now, as far as its current position, we're along the county line. This is only about 3 miles off to the west. We're now joined by meteorologist Cameron Venable. Cameron, why don't you give us a position update and tell us what you got going on?
All right, yeah. So I'm right in front of this thing, off of K25. So there you go. That's what we're looking at. So we have the dark base off to the right. That's the rain shaft. That's the very large hail. That's where I need to stay away from. As we zoom more out, it's kind of hard to see, but in front of us, way off on the horizon, that's where you would have the area of lowering. I can see some cloud fragments, we call them scud, kind of right underneath the base, but not seeing anything that's discernible as a wall cloud or lowering or rotation. And like you guys have said, we've really noticed that the rotation is starting to come down a little bit. So I'm right in front of this thing. I'm going to stay away from the hail core because it's dropping potentially up to baseballs, and that would be the end of the chase. So I am going to drop south on K25, probably to Hugoton, or maybe I'll cut back on Road Y. That was actually paved. So that's kind of an update of where I'm at right now. Guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Cameron, joining us live from Southwest Kansas. There you see right down there, there's Cameron along with Alicia and Jake, and there's Gene Tyson. And, you know, we're still getting a little, what we call a little weakness, a little weak echo region right along the line in the vicinity of the area of circulation. But the fact that Cameron is just, you know, all of about 4 miles away, you saw the picture from his perspective. If there's a tornado there, it's completely wrapped in rain, and you're not going to be able to see it. So let's go back over to the velocity data, because we were seeing a really nice trend downward here. And once we get to the top of the hour, we're a couple of minutes away. The National Weather Service, like I said, they got to make a decision whether or not they're going to issue a warning. But quite frankly, the fact that that little weak radar signature popped up, and you still got the reds are basically going away from Dodge City. The green, the blue, that's going back towards. So it is sitting there and it is spinning. So we're watching that. And the Weather Service, that's now out of the polygon. So technically it's out of the tornado warning at this point. But based on that reflectivity signature, it'll be interesting to see if they wind up issuing a new tornado warning on this. When we go back over the reflectivity, I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as that donut hole goes. So we go to the base reflectivity at this point. And there you go. See a little donut hole? And it lines up exactly perfectly with the velocity. So even if there's not necessarily a tornado on the ground, there's enough circulation inside the thunderstorm where the raindrops, think about, you know, centrifugal force, centrifuge. The raindrops are kind of getting thrown out to the side here, creating this little area of weakness. So we're going to continue to watch that. It's crossing towards K25. And then this is northern Stevens County. North of that is going to be the hail core that we're going to continue to watch as that continues on off to the north. So we'll keep you updated as KAKE News at 5 begins now.
Now live from the KAKE Studios, this is KAKE News at 5.
Tonight, the NBA Finals tip off on KAKE tonight. We'll take you live to Oklahoma City for all the excitement. Plus, the Wichita School Board president reacts after the district says it's investigating possible grade tampering at an area high school. And a semi-load of food, water, hygiene kits, and cleaning supplies arrived in El Dorado to help people dealing with the aftermath of all the flooding. KAKE News at 5 starts right now. And good evening. We'll get to those stories in just a minute, but first we have some strong thunderstorms moving through southwest Kansas. One of them producing a tornado. Jay Prater is here with a quick look. Jay.
We got the tornado watch in effect for southwest Kansas, including Garden City, including Cimarron and Meade off to the southwest until 9 o'clock Central. That's 8 o'clock Mountain Time. And then 3 counties to the north, including Wallace County, a severe thunderstorm watch. But as we kind of zoom in here and look at KAKE's first alert Doppler, this is the thunderstorm of the moment. Now, the Weather Service has allowed that to be downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning that they're keeping in effect until 5:45 for Grant and Stevens County. It has a history of 2 to 3 inch hail. Now, occasionally they've said anywhere between 70-mile-per-hour winds, potentially up to 90. So far, we haven't been able to confirm the wind speeds, but notice that little hole right there. We call that little weakness in the reflectivity, a little bounded weak echo region. That means that there is circulation, and you'll notice right along K25 is meteorologist Cameron Venable. Cameron, what have you got?
Yeah, so if you guys look at the stream right now, kind of in the center, I know it's slightly a little fuzzy, but that is going to be the area of lowering. It was a little more defined probably about a minute and a half ago, but if I zoom out, you'll notice over there, that's where you don't want to be. That's going to be the large hail and the heavy rain. But this is where the area of lowering would be, which is right in front of us. You can kind of see it there now. A little bit of a lowering, nothing organized. So there are so many storm chasers, including myself out here. So if this thing were to try to produce a tornado, we're going to see it. We'll be able to let you guys know. Check.
All right, appreciate that. So let's go back over to the velocity presentation here. Boy, I tell you what, just about 15 minutes ago, the velocities on this were incredible. It's still rotating, but it's broadly rotating. It's not nearly as strong as it is. Unfortunately, we got Cameron perfectly positioned where if it's going to produce a tornado, he's going to see it. Now, earlier, this storm produced some incredible hail. Colton, some of the hail sizes were around softball size.
Yeah, that's right, Jay. The good news is those have come down. That's good news for us. Well, but this could be
All right, so as far as what's going to be going on for the next few hours, the highest isolated tornado threat is going to be across southwest Kansas, but even Wichita later on overnight tonight, well after sunset, yes, we could see some severe weather in terms of some wind gusts and some smaller hail. Not as big as what's going on across southwest Kansas, so there's the potential later on tonight we might get put under a severe thunderstorm. Watch, we'll continue to track it for you and keep you updated right here on KAKE. Deb?
All right, thanks so much, Jay. And Jay mentioned that huge hail that fell out there. So we're asking for anyone who has pictures of that hail to share any weather pictures or videos with us by texting them to the number there on your screen, 757-525-3697. That's 757-KAKE, OYS for On Your Side. And please include your name and location. And